When Daniel first arrived in Bangkok, he believed in the simplicity of temporary things. The city shimmered with heat and neon, and he allowed himself to dissolve into it. He met Molly during his first week, an easy conversation that became dinner, then a night together that felt spontaneous and uncalculated. He knew what this kind of encounter usually meant, yet it felt lighter than a transaction. She laughed at his mispronunciations, teased him without deference, and made him feel chosen rather than merely accommodated. He paid for meals, hotel extensions, a bracelet she admired in a shop window. The exchange rate made generosity feel harmless. When he flew home, she cried at the airport. That image stayed with him longer than he expected. It transformed the experience from a holiday romance into something with emotional residue. They began messaging daily. Photos, voice notes, small confessions about their days. Then came modest requests. Rent assistance, motorbike repairs, a sick relative. Each transfer felt like participation in her life. He told himself it was support, not obligation. Months later, he returned, and the reunion was warm, familiar, physical. Yet beneath it ran a quieter current. When he mentioned English classes or visiting his country, she smiled but showed no urgency. Maybe later, she would say. Over 2 years, a rhythm formed. He worked and sent money monthly. He traveled twice a year. The intensity softened into routine. Her apartment improved. New electronics, designer handbags, weekends away with friends. He tried not to judge. Life in Thailand carried different constraints. Perhaps he underestimated the difficulty of change. Yet he could not ignore that nothing tangible was being built. There were no plans, no savings toward relocation, no shared timeline. The realization came not with anger, but with arithmetic. He calculated the total he had sent and struggled to define what it had created. The relationship seemed suspended, sustained by transfers and anticipation. He had assumed financial support implied movement toward a future. She appeared content in the present. On his final visit, he spoke plainly. He told her he could not continue sending money without a shared plan. Marriage, study, relocation, something defined. He did not accuse. He described his need for direction. She listened quietly and said only that he had changed. She did not argue for a future together. Back home, he opened his banking app at the end of the month and hesitated. For the first time, he closed it without confirming the transfer. The decision felt less like punishment than clarity. He understood then that neither of them had been dishonest. They had simply operated under different assumptions. He had equated provision with progress. She had accepted provision as part of the present. Without shared vision, generosity had become maintenance, and maintenance had begun to feel like obligation. In ending the transfers, he was not ending affection alone. He was ending ambiguity.